All right.
Okay, I am live. Okay, let's make sure this is working. Um, and make sure some people join me here. And once some people join me, we can get going. Um, and so it's on here. We're expecting this to start up slow because we didn't do an announcement for this. This is a surprise webinar. And so we'll be getting started in a few moments as soon as people get logged in. I see some people. I see somebody join me. Let's see here. And as soon as the room goes up a little bit, there we go. It's starting to numbers starting to tick. How's everybody doing? Hope you're having an awesome Thanksgiving. Welcome to the call. If you're just joining the call, please put a comment in chat so I know you can hear me. It makes me feel better when I know I'm talking to some actual people. Awesome. Thank you. Cairo, did you want to hang up now? You want to go? We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Take care. And welcome to the call. Today we're doing a random spontaneous call. It's kind of a replacement call for yesterday's call that we usually do around 5 p.m. And I wanted to talk about these qualities that make a man attractive. Hey, it's good to hear from y'all. A lot of people are joining me. I figured a lot of people would be online today because probably a lot of you have the day off. And while we're waiting for more people to join, we got somebody in there also helping out with the chat. But as we're waiting for more people to join, did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? You guys have a good, did you have turkey? Did you have ham? I had a great night last night with my family last night. So not missing this. Nice. Welcome to the call. No comments on Thanksgiving. Did you guys not enjoy your Thanksgiving? So you guys can hear me, right? Making sure before we get started. Got 26 of you online. Welcome, man. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. Put some more comments in. Let me know you're hearing me really quick. Just double check. Okay, good. There we go. Thanksgiving was fantastic. We don't celebrate in Norway. That makes sense. Yeah, we probably only celebrate here in the U.S. because it is our holiday. We were restricted to only 10 people in New York, so not the usual Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I know Oregon was doing the whole thing where they were going to arrest people if they got over 6 people and fine them, and encouraging their neighbors to rat on people who had over 6 people. I think that's kind of crazy. Let's see here. Nigeria, welcome. That's awesome. Know a little bit about Thanksgiving. Yeah, you probably don't need to know much about it from Nigeria. Love the content. Keep it up. Thank you, Anton. I appreciate that. No Thanksgiving for us Europeans. Where are you at, Scary Smurf? Great Thanksgiving from Asher. And I used to have a friend named Asher. Haven't seen him in years. Hello from Romania. Nice. Hey, Paul. Oh, is this the Paul I know from Romania? Aria's friend? Or is this a different Paul? Welcome, man. All the way from Africa. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. All you guys that aren't celebrating Thanksgiving because you're all around the world. Bulgaria. I need to go hang out in Bulgaria the next time I go to Romania. Take a trip over there. Yeah, I've lost a lot of weight and I'm down to about 15% body fat, 14%, and trying to go down to about 12, but I'm putting on muscle. So you'll see it go back up, but the muscle goes on slower, than the fat comes off. So, and I've actually put on a few pounds of muscle. So, thanks for noticing, Mike. Happy holidays from New York. Good. So let's dive in. My ex-con friend and wife picked up so easy. Boy, you're talking about Daniel. Can I talk about him? Well, maybe we can get to him in a little bit. He's not the subject, but I'll just tell you this much: it's one of the things that's so attractive in a man is indifference to outcome that is not faked. It's true indifference to outcome. I don't give a fuck what you think of me, and I'm gonna enjoy you. I can enjoy you whether you're mad at me or not mad at me. I just don't give a fuck. I'm good. I'm happy either way. And if you're not faking that and you're truly that, you become very interesting to other people, especially beautiful women. Because so many people think about it. If you're a hot woman, how many people constantly give a fuck what you think and are constantly following you around? Oh, by the way, if you notice the background's a little different, I'm in Idaho at my sister's house, so don't mind that. A little different place, but that has a huge difference in the way people perceive you. So that's what Daniel had in spades. He did not give a fuck. He was like, whatever. You don't like me, you don't like me. You like me, you like me. And women felt it. He could tell a hot girl to take a hike just as quickly as he could tell the average girl. If she was being a bitch, he'd be like, "Oh, you're being a bitch." He'd tell her straight to her face and he'd laugh at her. He did not give a fuck. Not that you need to be that way, but that's how he was. And I would see girls get mad at him and then super attracted to him. So there's a quick question. Now we got a little link to the Integrated Man Summit. Gonna be talking about the Integrated Man Summit today a little bit. So that's in here. We got the Black Friday bundle in there. So if you guys are interested in any of that, you can look at that. But in the meantime, let's get started. Let's talk about these qualities. We got a new ebook coming out, The Art of Fearless Seduction. It really breaks down what I consider, me personally, to be the most attractive qualities in a man. These are the things that, like we were just talking about Daniel, that make Daniel so attractive. These are like a lot of the qualities he had. And these are the qualities that make you attractive, not because of what you say, but because how you feel in your body while you say it. For example, if you feel really relaxed and comfortable and laid back and you're talking to a girl and you're like, hey, what's up? She can feel the difference than if you're tense, nervous, or anxious while talking to her, or if you want something from her, or if you're like, let's take it a step further. Let's say I'm an attractive guy and I want something from her because I want her to go on a date with me. I want her to like me. I want her to go out with me, but I'm not attached to it. And she can feel the difference. Like, yeah, I want you to like me. And if you don't like me, I'm fine. I'll just go over there and might meet somebody else. I don't need you to like me. And that's the big difference between the two. So we're going to go into these qualities and we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to be looking at the chat the whole time. I kind of glance over here and it's happy to see you guys too. Hey, AJ. So we're going to come back to this in a second. But first thing I want to do is talk a little bit. So I'm going to be looking away from the chat for a bit at these qualities. And the new ebook is going to be discussing these qualities and how to develop them. So the ebook's not out yet. It's not coming out till December. We're going to be launching it at the Integrated Man Summit. And we're going to be discussing it at the Integrated Man Summit. And let's get in here. Let me get to the first thing that we talk about, the first chapter in the ebook that is before the qualities. Now, there's one thing that overrides all the qualities of attractiveness, and that is the power. What we call the chapter is the power of the belief. Now, in positive psychology, there's something they talk about called positive reality, and this is what I mean by the power of belief. Positive, and I'm not just talking about, hey, I believe I'm an attractive guy. I'm talking about this sense of that the world is here to support you, that the world believes in you, that the most successful men in the world and women actually believe that the world is some fundamentally supportive. And the most unsuccessful believe that Murphy's law. Oh, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. There's all these problems. Oh, how do you make money? Life is so difficult. Most successful people are like, yeah, if I want to start a business, why wouldn't clients show up? They just have this fundamental core thinking that if I get hurt, people will help me. If I run out of money, something will show up. I'll figure it out. And that core belief, that sense of almost like what you would call faith in somebody's got my back, to me, out of all the qualities we're going to talk about here that make a man attractive, is the most important. Because I have seen guys that have a lot of these qualities, have a lot of really attractive qualities, but because they don't have good belief that the world is fundamentally supportive, that people actually like them and want to help them, they they can't utilize those qualities really well. They almost are their own self-destructive energy. So how many of you think you have that going on where you just think life is difficult, it's challenging, and it's hard, and and that's what makes and we'll talk. I saw that comment on the feminine. It distracted me, Jacob. What happens though if you're a very feminine guy? I'll come back to that later. So I did catch that. So So, how many of you have this negative reality that I call it, or learned helplessness, this sense that life is difficult? And how many of you even know what learned helplessness is? Because the truth is that the average person that comes to me has some degree of learned helplessness. Some don't, but a lot of you do. And that's what keeps you stuck. So, positive reality, which is from positive psychology, is almost the opposite of learned helplessness. Um, hmm. I see that. That's what Nancy. I believe there would be plotting. What can you ask? Okay, cool. Um, so, how many of you think you have this negative reality? So let's see. I see we got a woman in here. I love it when the women join us. CC, women like men with class. You could never buy this, and it's dependent on how you carry yourself. And we're going to get into that, and that's very true. She's actually very right. And treat other people. If you have no class, you will only attract women with no class. And she's absolutely right. You attract the woman that's equal to who you're being. If you're an angry guy, you're going to attract angry women. If you're a codependent guy, you're going to attract codependent women. Um, if you're a really miserable person, you're going to attract somebody miserable and you're going to create something a whole lot worse than miserable. Abraham Hicks said that many years ago. That's super true. So, coming back to this, now let me go into this idea of what a negative reality is, and then we're going to go through these qualities and and kind of go from there. But a negative reality is this idea that, or what we call learned helplessness. I'll give you an experiment. There was an experiment done with dogs, and it was actually puppies, I believe, and they put them in a cage that had a mild electric shock on the bottom. I add mild. I didn't say that, but hopefully it was. And they would shock the bottom of the cage. It had no lid on it, so the puppies would jump out. And this makes sense. This is what we would all do. Hey, this hurts over here. Burn your hand in the fire. You take it out. And then they put the dogs back in the cage as an experiment, and they put a lid on it. And once they put the lid on the cage, they did the mild electric shock, and the dogs couldn't jump out. They tried, and eventually they give up and they lay down in the shock. They accept their reality the way it is, and they just kind of whimper and cry. Then they put them back in the cage, take the lid off again, and shock the dogs. And you would think the dogs would now jump out because the lid's gone. But because dogs had been trained to accept their life the way it was, they actually lay down in the shock and they just whimper and cry, even though they could jump out. They needed something outside of themselves, a human being, to come along and show them how to jump out again. Well, unfortunately, this gets programmed into a lot of us in the world. We give up. We live in apathetic societies and apathetic life where we sit there and say, well, when I run out of money, I guess we'll just starve. There's that mentality that goes on with life. For a lot of clients, when they come to Fearless and they start working on their confidence level, whether it's to make money or with women or whatever it is, they run into this same problem. They sit there and they say, well, I want to work on my life with women, but nothing ever changes. I can't do it. And even when we see them start to develop really good qualities, masculine qualities, an open heart, groundedness, caring, they still don't believe in themselves. So what we'll see is a woman will start to like them and show interest in them, and they still can't even see it. And this is why positive reality is so important. It's your ability to see when something is working. It's your ability to believe that something is going to work. It's your ability to believe. I go talk to this one girl. She's not interested. Maybe she's got a boyfriend. Maybe she's taken. But there's somebody here that's going to like me. And you don't even need to believe it. You just know it. It's a deep knowing at the core level. I'm male. Women are built to like me. I'm built to like them. And that positive reality is the first thing that I think that we really need to take a deep look at as men and in personal growth and any type, if we want to be able to shift our reality. We want to be able to have a real powerful life. And in when we look at it from psychology perspective, it's called learned helplessness. They've done tons of experiments on it, that we get programmed into this learned helplessness kind of energy. And you can look up studies on it. You can look up studies they've done in high schools where they played with the kids. And I don't know why they would do this, but where they actually show the children that had a degree of learned helplessness, or even program some into it, and watch them just give up. What's the point? Nothing will change anyways. So this is the first thing that you need to change. And what I want to know from you guys is how many of you feel like you might have some of this running? How many of you feel this in your life? Because if you don't get this under control, I can teach you all of the qualities that we're about to talk about, and you'll get stuck anyways. It doesn't matter. So Jacob wrote, I think I have a lot of it. And I see CC up here. It's victim consciousness. And that's true. You could call it victim consciousness. They've been calling it that in spiritual teachings and energetic teachings for years. I use that term a lot too. And sometimes I like to talk from one. I could talk from the metaphysical perspective, or I could talk from the scientific perspective and more psychological. And I try to talk from both a little bit for the depending on what your background is in the crowd. Um, so let's dive a little deeper. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to jump through this. I'm not going to spend. I tend to go deep in certain topics, so I could spend the whole call talking about learned helplessness and the power of belief, but we're going to jump past that because what I want to do is cover this book, the Art of Fearless Seduction, which is the ebook that's coming out in December, and so these are the things that you can learn from this book. And I think these are things that you can each evaluate right now, whether you've got some of this running in your life, because this is part of what makes you super attractive as a man. We can talk about abstract concepts all we want, but abstract concepts only take us so far. We need something we can put into practice as human beings. Like, I'll give you an abstract concept, just be confident. Go out and be confident. But what does that mean? What does it mean to be confident? How many of you have ever heard somebody say, just go be confident? Yeah, girls like confidence. Go be confident. And then you go over to be confident and okay, I'm going to be confident. And you walk up to the girl, hey, how you doing? What's up? And there's this sense of pushing and forcing, and that's overcompensation. See, confidence isn't overcompensation. It's this ability to relax into your power and enjoy yourself and not worry about what others think of you. And we need to look at it at these subtle levels. What makes up confidence? What makes up solidness? What makes up vulnerability? What makes up but that's what this ebook is really about. It's about getting into these deeper levels. So now I'm going to dive into the qualities that we're going to be breaking down in this ebook to help you develop the best version of yourself. It's unconscious qualities that you have inside of you that make you just flow as a man. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat really quick. I like to stop and take a look at it every once in a while. I think women tend to mirror the man they're attracted to. Many do. I see a lot of men do that to women too. Typically, needy guys. Some women love to challenge the guy they're attracted to too. It's got Kludgy says it's his 1 year anniversary of watching my videos, and it's a paradigm shifting stuff. Yes, that's what we try to go for, man. I'm glad you feel that way. Um, how should I react if another guy hits on the same girl as me? We're not going to be getting into that today, but that's a great topic for the future. And honestly, it shouldn't bother you. I mean, honestly, she's not your girl. I look at it as he likes her, I like her. Let's see what happens, you know? And there's a lot of things you can do to deal with it and to ground it out. And part of it comes with how comfortable you are with yourself and how indifferent to outcome. But right now, that's not the topic. Maybe I'll reference it a little bit as I go through these qualities. Um, okay, good. Okay, I see a lot of good stuff in here. Keep chatting up, guys. Um, okay, let's dive in a little deeper. So these qualities that are going to be in the ebook that we're going to break down. Qualities of a sexy man who women love. The first quality that we're going to talk about is proactive. This is part of what makes up, and all of this is going to make up this sense of confidence. All of these qualities are going to make up the sense of confidence in a man. So the first is proactive versus reactive. Reactive guys are super unattractive and it's women repellent. Okay. Proactive guys, on the other hand, are very confident. And it's not just doesn't just pull women over, it pulls other confident men over. It really demonstrates your ability to be a powerful man. And not only that, when you're proactive, you actually grow faster. If you want to go learn to do a new skill, whether physical, mental, or whatever, you actually learn faster. And so the first quality is proactive, and really understanding what proactive is really huge. Reactive, and I'm going to sum it down to something simple. Reactive guys tend to be very uncomfortable with tension. So when they experience something with tension, they want to get rid of it or get away from it or get done with it as fast as possible because they don't like it. Proactive guys, when they experience tension, even if it makes them uncomfortable, play in it, dance in it, savor it because they know they grow in it. So they don't run from tension, they walk into it. If I'm nervous and walking up to a beautiful girl, and I'm like, I'm gonna go say hi to that girl, and I'm nervous. I might rush over there. Hey, how you doing? My name's Brian. And there's this sense of rushing because I'm scared of the tension. I'm scared of how she's gonna react. Another one might be that I pull back and I'm, hey, hi, my name's Brian. Because I'm afraid she's gonna get mad at me. Again, I'm scared of the tension. Now, let's say I'm still nervous, but I see a beautiful girl sitting over there. I can walk right over and I own it. Say, fuck, man, you look what you do to me. You make me nervous. I'm fucking nervous right now, but I had to come say hi to you. I couldn't walk by without saying hi. Now I own it. Yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm not afraid of my own nervousness. I'm not afraid of being scared of you. Therefore, I can handle fear. And that's a sexy quality. That's where we learn and grow from. That's where we step into tension from. And learning to develop that skill set is one of the first things that I want to teach in the new ebook that's coming up that I do teach because all of the other skill sets that are in there build off of your ability to do that. The more you can be proactive in your learning process with everything that's coming up, the faster you're going to learn and grow and devour this ebook and become the man you want to be. So, boy, you guys are writing fast. Mm. Okay. Let's see what's all here. I'm going to go down. KB Scoop. The assumption is, and I'm reading these and I'm not pre reading them. So, CC, the assumption, oh, it's just responding to CC. The assumption is that it is the man you're attracted. And okay, I'm not sure what you're responding to there. Yuri, is jealousy a reflection of neediness? Yeah, I would say so. Um, um, Okay, Spydro, I have a question. Can memories from the past make you uh, reactive is what you were trying to write there, I think, and how to handle that? Yes, they can. Unprocessed memories are old traumas that are being held in the body, and a lot of that stuff you can still be reacting to today because it's repressed into the subconscious. That's what the subconscious does. Confident people are very rare. This is CC. And confidence varies on spectrum. High levels is well spiritual. Yes, it does. You can have confidence in different areas of life. Some people are very confident in their skill set. Maybe they're a musician. They get on stage and they just flourish and they go into feeling, which we're going to talk about, and they open, and then they get off stage and they're quiet and they shrink again. And what I'm talking about is being confident on a social level and a learning level so you can process and grow all through life, being able to walk, talk, and carry your confidence through your day to day. So that's good. Luke, I hear lots of people telling me about simple mindset shifts and they have really good results. Yes, this happens. I constantly have trouble with mood swings and from positive to negative mindsets. What causes this? That's a deeper story, but look at releasing. Look at the Letting Go book to really get a better understanding of that. Luke, if you haven't read it, go, but by Hawkins, Letting Go by Hawkins, a great book to help you understand what might be going on with your mood swings. You could also be having some hormonal crashes. I do recommend a lot, guys, if you got a lot of food allergies, histamine responses, hormonal stuff, check that out because that can cause a lot of mood swing problems too. Um, okay, cool. I'm gonna keep going. What do I think of NLP? It's cool. Like anything else, it's a technique. It's an energy. There's an energy that drives NLP or drives anything. It's the same energy. It doesn't matter what technique you're using. Get to the energy that drives all of these systems and techniques, they all work, whether it's NLP, EFT, whatever. Get to the feeling behind it all. And you'll better understand and grow longer. But NLP is a great tool, if you don't lose the feeling of it. So let's dive back in. What's the next quality now that we've discussed? The proactive, reactive is the first one. Next one is grounding. And the reason I've got grounding on here as one of the early qualities too is because without groundedness, you're going to have a really hard time learning the rest. Matter of fact, grounding should almost be before proactive, reactive. It was a choice which one would be better. But groundedness is, think about the grounding on a car. If your car ground is loose, what happens to the car, guys? The car um, doesn't really work really well, and it start not start, start not stop, and start. And so many guys are terrible at grounding. So learning to ground better, relax in the tension, enjoy tension, not be super reactive, staying calm under pressure. This doesn't mean you go out and take a lot of action. It just means I can relax through this. I can ground it through me. I can, if she's angry at me, I can handle it. And that groundedness is super powerful and super important. So that's grounding. And once you've got grounding, you can start to develop the other qualities a man needs. Now, a lot of you who have been in workshops with me have seen us play with grounding, whether it's with women, whether it's with other men, where we actually bring a lot of tension. You learn to handle more and more, relaxing into it. And you see how people react to you differently when you can do that. As you get better and better at it, people like you more and more. People get curious about you. We love that guy that can handle a lot of tension, or a woman, but we're mostly talking to men here. Um, so let's continue on. That's the next quality that we're going to talk about in the ebook, how to develop grounding. As it comes out, we're going to have a whole bunch of teachings around this. And I've got other videos. I got a whole video on grounding on the YouTube channel. If you guys want to go look it up, look up grounding, where I actually teach it. But that's the next quality that's really important. The next one is tension. So I put grounding before tension, because tension without grounding is gonna it's you're gonna step into tension, you're gonna overload, you're gonna burn out, and just gonna become too stressful for you. But as you start to learn to ground the tension, you're gonna be able to handle more and more tension in life. And then the tension is going to slowly start turning into flow states. Okay, because you got to enter into the tension, then you relax and calibrate the tension until it becomes a flow state. So everything you do in life starts with tension. If I want to grow a tree, for example, I take a seed, I bury it in the ground, I put dirt on top of it, and it's packed under all this tension. That tension activates its potential. And as it fights to dig roots and fights to the surface, it grows into its full power and its full strength. We grow muscles through tension. We learn languages through stressing the brain. Stress is in the perfect balance, not too much, not too little, is so powerful. And as you can handle more grounding, you start to be able to handle more tension, therefore more stress in a comfortable, fun way, and a fun stress. And you start to grow more, and life starts to become way more fun. And this is where you start to develop this sense of confidence to other people. Other people look at you and go, oh, this guy can handle this stress. He can handle this tension. He's interesting. Um, let's see. With each one of these, I'm going to look at a couple comments. Stress from my hectic job is messing up with my mood all the time. It's killing my charisma. How do I deal with this? You learn. You probably have a bunch of negative stories you're using to relate to your job. You can actually change the way you relate to your job, your business. Again, look at Letting Go by Hawkins. That'll help you a lot. But learning to ground and be proactive with your job, and learning, because a lot of people, that when they want to quit a job, they start hating it, and they use the hate to find a reason to leave the job, versus just leaving the job because they chose to leave. A confident person wouldn't hate their job before they leave it. They just be like, it's time for something new. I'm going to go grow somewhere else. They don't need to hate their life to move somewhere else. They can love where they're at and still grow. Unfortunately, the average person doesn't do that. Um, Sorry about the dog there. He's going nuts in the background, but I'm just going to let him go nuts. He's probably barking at something out on the street. Again, I'm at my sister's house, so I have to kind of deal with the situation. I'm not in my studio. Um, okay, so let's go to the next one, and then I'll read a couple more. We need to fix the shame in men, CC wrote. Fix the emotional level to change the thoughts, to change. And yeah, well, that's anybody. What you're talking about there, CC, is that there's anybody at their core that has self esteem problems. I don't care if they're male or female, there's going to be shame problems. And shame is just self hate. That's usually triggered by abandonment. It's an epidemic. Abandonment is an epidemic. Emotional abandonment. I'm talking about literal abandonment, the literal too, is an epidemic in the world today. It's what's causing so much of the codependence in the world. And if we don't learn to resolve our shame, which is at the core is this deep level emotional abandonment. There's a sense of abandonment as a child. We'll grow up hating ourselves our whole life, and therefore we'll work our whole life through that. And then we'll wonder why we have so many problems. And that's male, female. That doesn't matter who it is. There's just as many women and men hating themselves today. And we're learning to grow out of that. And I think it's great that we're learning to grow out of that. So the next one is, so if we get good with tension, the next one is feeling. So think of tension, skills with tension as, and I'm talking about a physical tension in the world, going out and dealing with the world and fighting the world is a masculine domain. This next one is actually a feminine domain, vulnerability and feeling, the ability to relate to your emotions, your inner world. And guys, you don't have to be an expert at this. Women are going to naturally be better at this than men. Men are going to be better at the physical tension than women naturally in general. That doesn't mean there's not a woman that's awesome at physical tension. We know there is. Ron Rousey, for example. It doesn't mean there's not men that are amazing at vulnerability and feeling. There are. But in general, the male body is built for tension. The female body is built for vulnerability. And that's how we make a good team. And as we go through life, we're both learning to develop each side. We get good at our side, and then we got to learn to develop the other side to become a whole human being and to actually learn to have great relationships with each other. As I become better with feeling, which is the ability to open my heart and feel my emotions and then relate to her emotions, the more relatable I become to her and her ability to do that, and vice versa. She begins to respect and love physical tension more. She doesn't have to be amazing at it. Even 10% goes a long way. She can then relate to you and stop emasculating you and start to become a powerful relationship with you. And so we're both here to develop these sides and to develop a relationship to it. So start welcoming this idea that as men, you can be really good with emotion and feeling, and you can tell deep stories, and you can connect and relate from your heart to your children, to your wife, to your girlfriend. And that's a skill set that I think every man must master. And in the ebook, we're going to be covering basic ways to develop this, along with the tension skills too, that's coming up. And again, if you look through my YouTube videos, I have videos on all this stuff out there with stuff that you can do about it before the ebook even comes out, or if you'd rather do it instead of the ebook. I put out ridiculous amounts of free stuff, guys. So it's not all about just getting the ebook, but if you want to get it in one concise package, you'll eventually have to get the ebook, okay? Or come to the Integrated Man Summit. Okay, next one. The next quality is the ability to make a decision. Napoleon Hill talks about this in his book. If you want a really good read on this, read the chapter on decision from Think and Grow Rich. And decision is so powerful. If you read that chapter, you'll really understand it. But Napoleon Hill talks about how the 500 of the world's most successful men and women, and they all have the ability to make decisions quickly and change their minds slowly, if ever at all. Why would this be so important? Because tension is the growing element in life. And so if you can make a decision quickly and then stick with that decision and follow it through to some level of success, you're going to grow a lot. If you hesitate on decisions, you're constantly hesitating on tension, holding back tension. If you make a decision quickly and change your mind quickly, then you're going to constantly be stepping out of tension. If you make your decisions slowly and then change your mind quickly, you're going to go nowhere in life because you're going to never be in tension. So the more I can step into tension, make decisions quickly, step right into the tension, and then stick to it, the more I'll have the ability to grow and learn from all that tension and turn those tension into flow states. This includes saying no, because for a lot of you, if you say yes to everything and say you're really going to say no to the bulk of things that come into your life. If you try to say yes to everything, you're going to overload. You're going to burn out. But if you get really good at saying, I'm not doing that, even though it intrigues me, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, but that I'm doing. You learn to put all your energy into the things that truly matter for you. You're going to pick the top things in life that matter to you, and you're going to say no to everything else and say, that's the direction I'm going. And I'm going to make it happen. That's what creates a powerful and a big life. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to follow it through. I'm going to get to a level of fruition. And this ability to make a decision and stick to it is so powerful. So many people, they get halfway through their decision and they quit, and they're constantly doing this their whole life, wondering why their life's not going anywhere. And so that's so powerful. I want to welcome you to this idea of understanding decision. Read the chapter from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. Shame is abandonment. Well said. Thank you, Cece. Glad we think along the same ways. Let's see, Lokman, what's your thoughts on arranged marriage? It's pretty successful in my country. I had somebody explain an arranged marriage from his tradition as an Indian male, and it actually didn't sound too bad, but mostly I would think I wouldn't be for it. But because of the way he described it to me and the way his family did it, I actually kind of liked it. And what I mean by this is I'll just say this really quick, is they had a huge interview process for an arranged marriage to make sure every aspect of the couple was compatible, and you were supposed to go through that. And unfortunately, what they said is in their country, most families ignore that process. But when they do that process, couples tend to be pretty good because they otherwise they're not meant to be together. And he said he went through it and he loved it. He had a really successful marriage because of it. But he said he picked the women himself and then told his family, we're going to go through the arranged marriage process. And if they don't work out, I won't marry them, because he trusted the process so well. But he picked his, and I love that he was picking out the girls to go through it with his family. So very interesting. Had a hugely successful marriage because of it. So that was jumping topics. Now let's go back. Um, okay, the next one is containing. Containing is really important. It's your ability to create a container around something. At a workshop, we have a container. We control the room, we control the environment, we control the energy in the room, we keep everything focused so you guys can learn. So you don't have to worry about all that stuff. As a man, you lead the containers a lot. You'll go into a scenario and you'll like a date and you'll create a container for that date so she can surrender and be feminine and flow and express her emotions for you and start to feel you, and you create a dance together. You create the container, but for every container, there's something has to fill it, and that's what she does. And if you create a really solid container, she's going to fill it with her feminine, and you're going to both benefit and grow from it. Unfortunately, a lot of men are bad at maintaining containers. So what women have to do is go create the container to make up for what the guys aren't doing, and therefore they start to become more masculine. As they become more masculine, they can't get attracted to you as the masculine male. Doesn't mean she can't do the container. Women do containers a lot. What they're looking for on the date is to find a man they trust enough to let him do the container. And the more you're trustable that way with the container, the more they'll be interested in you as a man. And this room, so to have a good container, you have to be decisive. You have to be good with tension. You have to be very proactive. You see how we're starting to lead towards what confidence looks like? And these are the qualities that build up and create a really powerful version of you. So I want to that you can create powerful containers. This doesn't mean women don't create. They do. They might create a container with their children. They might create a container at their job. But for the masculine and feminine polarization, the dynamic, when you're dating her, you're mostly going to create the container. And if it's a healing, and then there might be an environment where you come home and she wants to take care of you. So she creates a nurturing, healing container for you. That's a different situation. That's after you've probably been dating for a bit. Um, then there's leading. The ability to lead is not the ability to order people around. When you understand what leading really is as a man, it's more of a guiding process. A hose doesn't control the water, it guides the water from one place to the other. It doesn't even make the water go through it. The water goes through of its own accord and its own power. And so, understanding how to create a leading, guiding energy that guides things from one place to another with this natural flow where you work with the energies of the environment and what the moment most wants is so powerful. So, I want to invite you in that. That'll be the next chapter in the book, is how to develop this ability to lead as a man. And you're going to use this stuff everywhere in life, not just with women. We talk about it with women because our channel is dedicated to the idea of dating, but you're going to use this stuff everywhere. If a woman wants to buy the book and use it for business and becoming the CEO of her own company, she could do that, and she'll get radical shifts from it, because this is the stuff we've used to build Fearless, the successful company it is, and beyond. And I built a lot of stuff doing this stuff. So leading is the next quality. Um, just taking a quick look at that again, guys and ladies. Um, How do you feel about Dream Legacy Inc? How do you feel about planting a seed with a woman and coming back to close the deal at another time, meaning strike up a conversation and interest and make them That's fine. I mean, there's a lot of women and people, and even in business, and women in my life I've met where, it's not the right time. You got to go with what the moment wants. And so maybe we'll have this little intrigue, but maybe she's got a boyfriend. So let it go. And then 6 months later, she doesn't have a boyfriend. She's single and she's curious because she remembers this moment we had together. I had this, I've had it work in reverse. I've had it work for me and against me. But this whole idea that you're just going around and you're planting seeds everywhere in life for all kinds of stuff. You don't know what's going to grow as far as 6 months from now, a year from now, possibility situations. So, but if you're talking about the same night, yeah, that's fine too. I might go through and be social with people, talking to them, chatting, and have a little conversation. And then we come back and talk a little bit more later. Everything has its own perfect time, its own perfect place. And I have an immense amount of faith that there's something working behind the scenes to make everything work the way it's supposed to work. I have an immense amount of trust. I have an immense amount of faith. I believe there's something that's got my back, whether you want to call it God or the universe or whatever. And that faith, it works for me. My life works because of it. So I can't complain. Um, so let's go to the next one. So that's leading. Turn on. Now, this is one of my favorites. This is one you don't see a lot of people talk about. A lot of men out here, and women, to be honest, need to get more comfortable with being turned on. And I don't mean turned on sexually, although that's part of it. Yes, turned on sexually. I'm turned on for you. There's something about you, but there's this sense of turn on. When you fall in love with something or you really appreciate something, and you have gratitude, you feel it right here. It's warm and fuzzy. Turn on is felt down in the hip area. And you can be turned on for your art. You can be turned on for business. You can be turned on for your date. You can be turned on for its passion. It makes you take physical action to make something happen. Turn on can create a baby, a beautiful human being that can grow into grow over 9, 10 months and grows into a full adult. It can also create a business. It can create art. It can create passion between you and your partner. And what you want to cultivate is the ability to consciously feel your hips and your turn on, and then direct it into form. Whether that's a business, art, your relationship, can you be turned on? I want to ask you guys, can you be turned on just as much as you can be turned on for having sex with a woman? Can you be turned on for getting to know her? Can you be turned on for going deeper with her? Can you be turned on for taking her out on a date, not just getting her into bed? Because then it's going to be 10 times easier to get into bed, and sex is going to be that much better. Yeah, and yes, can you be turned on for sex too? There's nothing wrong with that. But the whole kit and caboodle. See, I love women, and I'm turned on for women in general, and not just women I'm dating. Like my family, the people in my life. And then that turn on isn't all sexual. Mostly it's not. A lot of it is just passion for them as human beings, for the people in my life. So turn on is the next energy, and it can be cultivated. I've done a lot of meditations around cultivating turn on, running it through my body. Instead of wanting to have sex, I run the energy through my body. It gives me more energy to go create and be creative. And so turn on is the next energy you can cultivate. And people can feel people walking around in turn on that have a passion for life. Think about the most successful people in the world. Think about somebody like a Kobe Bryant of the world, or Michael Jordan, or people that get out there, Elon Musk, and look how turned on for their business, or Michael Jordan for basketball. Think how turned on they are to get up every day and do what they love. Can you feel the turn on in that? Think about that. That's so powerful. And women love watching a man in his turn on, because that leads to passion and purpose. He has a purpose greater than himself, and he has a purpose greater than her. And this purpose is like aligned with the universe or God, and he's driven to go do it. And that's what makes these men so sexy. They live in that turn on. So that's the next energy we're going to be talking about in the book, and that's the last energy of the book. And so each chapter, each one of those is going to be a chapter in the book, and we're going to talk about how to break them down and how to cultivate each one in your life so that you're walking, talking, carrying yourself, and moving in these energies. You can literally live these energies, guys. You can start to cultivate them a little bit more each day, week, month, and year, till you're living more from these energies, and that's what makes it so powerful. Um, so with that said, that's what the book's going to be about. We're going to ultimately have an online program where we have the coaches talk about all these chapters together, and we're going to break them down, how they each cultivated them in their lives from the company and how they brought them into their reality. We're going to be talking about all of these at the Integrated Man Summit coming up here at the first weekend of December. So if you haven't signed up for the Integrated Man Summit, sign up for that now, because that's going to be an amazing event. It's one of the funnest events we do all year. It's one of my favorites. It's in Miami. We're going to be hanging out on the beach, eating. I love these ribeye steaks I get at the restaurant right there. Hang out with everybody, talking to everybody. I'm only teaching a little bit. I'm hosting, and all the coaches are teaching from these energies, talking about these energies, demonstrating these energies, showing you how they work. You get vicarious transference of these energies at the event. Because when somebody's speaking from vulnerability and another person, you start to get the idea of what vulnerability is. When somebody's speaking from groundedness and feeling their groundedness and relaxing into tension on stage, and you see it 2 or 3 times, you start to get the idea of what it really is. Or when you feel somebody up on stage passionate and turned on for what they're talking about, and they start talking about turn on and they reference it, you start to get the idea of what it is. Now, you don't have to just come to the event. We do have an online version of it, and there's a link in the chat box. If you're interested in that event, please click on that right now. It's going to be an amazing event, and it's a chance to get out, man. Everybody's been locked down for so long, and Florida committed to not locking down. So if you guys are ready to get out, have some fun, be in the sun, and we're right on the beach at the Confidant, so beautiful, then this could be the event for you. And this is the event where I'm going to be able to answer your questions in person. One more thing for the commercial I'm doing right now. There's going to be some live Q&As that are going to be private off camera just for people that come to the event. And there's going to be some live releases where we do some releasing off camera from people that come to the event. So if you were interested in that, you want to get in, you want to make a lot of friends, you want to have a great time, then check the event out and click on the link in the video, and I will see you at the event or online, whichever works better for you. Now, with that said, I want to dive in a little deeper. Um, uh, and I want to start taking some questions and see what you guys want to know based on what I just talked about, and go from there. Um, let's see. Somebody wrote some. Oh, I see the team's responding to you guys. So something about a pool rule. I'm not going to go into that because I don't really. I'm not a big fan of pickup anymore. Never really was. I always felt it was too analytical, and they were mimicking what guys that were really confident and feeling their confidence really had going on naturally. And you can't really mimic it. You got to feel it. That was what was missing from it. And it got everything started. So, um, okay, integrated man. So let's go down a little farther. Now, CC wrote something interesting here. Where'd you write that, CC? Coming back to you. I love it when I have girls on the call because it really helps to illustrate some points. Yeah, I am too feminine for most men, and they lack masculinity, so I leave. And that's a common problem that a lot of women have. CC, are you from the United States? Or are you from another country? It's a common problem for a lot of men, of a lot of women these days, is they want more masculinity out of men. But then there's a lot of women that have, for the last few generations, spent a lot of time emasculating men too, and then they're waiting, and then there are men that allow themselves to be so it's a whole catch-22 both directions. So, but for a woman who knows she wants a masculine man, yeah, she can be picky that way. And same for guys. As a guy, do you want a feminine woman? Don't be ashamed of that. I want her to be feminine. I'm not looking for a girl to be the masculine. And because that guy that wants her to be feminine knows how much power there is in the feminine. It is so filled with power and can blow his life up if he lets it, and her life together. They make a great circuit. Okay, Yuri. Let's see what Yuri has to say here. Where'd you go, Yuri? I just lost you. Yuri, would you say that it is true that women have a natural attraction to the alpha male? Yeah, there's some truth to that. I think it's pretty common to see them getting more interested in bosses. It's his command over tension. We talked about this earlier. That one of the qualities in the book is the ability to handle tension when tension hits the fan. And so women get very attracted and intrigued by men that can handle tension. And that could be a boss. Some bosses suck at tension. Some bosses are great at tension. It just happens that the men that handle tension tend to be in these more leadership positions. And but if you go through primitive times, a man that had a good command over physical tension would keep her and her babies alive, keep the tribe alive, would become the leaders of the tribe. It was tantamount to survival for her. Okay, and that has a lot to do with why women get attracted to men who are good with tension and their bosses because they're exuding confidence. But there are just as many that don't. They just get in those positions because they're lucky. You got to actually own that energy, right? Um, okay. I'm sitting on the fence attending the Miami Intensive since I live in Florida, and all these thoughts come up. How do I get there? How do I get out of working on Friday? Well, if there's a burning desire, no friends. There's a burning desire. There's a way. That's a law of polarity. You can't have an up without a down. You can't have a left without a right. You can't have a question without an answer, and you can't have a burning desire in your body without a way to achieve it. Because the universe, if polarities are on, if you look through life, you'll see polarity exists everywhere in the physical realm, and so there has to be a way. So you just have to decide how much tension you want to step into to make that thing happen, and that's up to you. You have to take a look at that. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It means that you got to be willing to step in the amount of tension it takes to make it happen. If you have a burning desire, and that's most people aren't being. So I'm going to smooth. There's a lot of questions that came in. Um, what? No man in his right mind want a feminine bitch. Well, that just sounds like somebody doesn't. I'm not even sure what you're trying to say there. You're trying to say you don't like feminine women. You want a masculine woman. I'm a little confused by that one. Um, okay, let's go down. Uh, okay, Majid. Some days I get out and it's like I'm a celebrity. I get so much attention from women. Is that flow state? Well, flow state is when you feel like everything is just flowing. You can't make a wrong decision. Like I turn left, everybody gets out of my way, or I know when to step left. I know, and so your gut brain is active and working with the frontal lobe in perfect time to tell you when to do what to make everything happen. And that's when you feel really powerful. And a lot of women will get attracted to men in flow states. When it used to happen to me in bars, I'd be out socializing. I could talk to everybody at any time. Nothing got in my way. When the flow dropped and I got into my head, nothing worked, even the simplest stuff, you see. So understanding how that's created is so powerful. And you see a lot of this is kind of covered a little bit in the ebook too. Um, why, while talking to the woman, she tends to look elsewhere while I make eye contact and I enter more in the tension. That is Uh, there is no straight answer to that, Keisha, because it all depends on how she's doing it, and it all depends on what you're doing. Are you creating so much tension that she's uncomfortable? Is she getting bashful and nervous because you're doing it perfectly? I would almost have to see the dance that's going on between you two to be able to tell. Is she looking down and looking back? That's kind of a good sign. Is she looking up and looking away? That's typically not a good sign. And I'm not going to say nothing is 100%. So those are tendencies. Okay. Is she just darting away nervously, or is she looking away? And you can feel the difference and looking back. Feel, is she playing with you, or is there so much tension that you're overdoing it and you're like hitting her too hard and she's trying to get away? That's the easiest answer I can give you off the top of my head. Um, okay. Thank you for bringing these subtle awarenesses to bringing these subtleties to my awareness. It's truly healing. You're welcome. I love doing it, man. I love helping people. I used to be super shy, guys. By the way, getting on here talking to you would have been an impossibility many years ago. Getting on stage and speaking like I do now, I love it. You guys could say something negative; it doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, I've gotten so comfortable through these principles with people that my whole life has radically changed. My income has changed, my health has changed, and everything just gets better every year. My life gets better and better and better because I constantly work at getting a little bit better with these principles every day. And my life just keeps blowing up because of it. And I feel like anybody can do that if they stay consistent with moving in the right direction. Unfortunately, a lot of people are constantly distracted, and that's all they care about is distracting and not growing. Um, Can you talk about using visualization to cold approach? I am finally getting a shift using it. Yeah, you can visualize it. Matter of fact, the more you visualize and imprint on your subconscious mind what you want to be able to do, the more powerful, the more your nervous system gets the idea. The key is you got to feel good while you do it. If you're visualizing something you're trying to force into your subconscious mind, it doesn't feel good. Your subconscious mind is going to keep rejecting it, and it's actually going to create more pain around the idea. The more it feels good and you're in there enjoying it and relaxing, the better it gets. Now I'll do one thing to amp it to the next level. Go in there, visualize it, get it perfect, and then open your eyes and imagine you can see it happening around you in the 3D world that you're in now. Just like the holodeck on Star Trek, or if you don't know what the holodeck on Star Trek is, look it up. It's where this 3D world gets created around you so you can do simulations. So move it from here to here and see with your mind's eye the people standing in front of you, the everything that's happening, and that takes it to the next level. Um, yeah, you're welcome, man. Somebody said thanks for your work here. I love doing it, guys. Ooh, pools are cheap. We'll shut them down. Good for you, Cece. Some girls, usually they're party girls, is where I see the pools have done the best. Girls that have shut off their hearts and don't want to feel, just want to be distracted and party. Um, and I tell you, that's a lot of work. Dating party girls is a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of fucking energy. These girls are like ADD and they're all over the place. And they usually have self esteem issues. So they draw these party guys that have self esteem issues. And there you go. If you want to go in that world, that's an interesting world. You'll learn something from it. I'll tell you that much. Um, and you still got to be in some level of feeling. I can tell you, most poos I've met have no feeling and no grounding, and they spend 10 years trying to become a better pua, and all they do is become worse with women. And it's unfortunate, but you're not real. I mean, you want real guys. Everybody that should be working with Fearless wants real human connections, I hope. Not some bunch of bullshit. Real human connection with other people. Wants to be able to feel and relate through your heart, through your grounding. Yeah, have amazing sex. Not apologize for your sexual self, your turn on. Be able to talk comfortably about sex, but also about connection. Care about the person as much as you want to fuck the person, and that's, or care about the friends and your family in your life. All of that's important. It all goes hand in hand. Um, CCO is actually from SoCal. Nice. A high frequency woman. Oh, I know what you mean by that. It's frequency. I misunderstood the frequency part at first. Got it now. Okay, cool. Awesome. I'm glad you're doing really well. I'm glad. Thanks for being on the call. Um, what are your thoughts about jealousy? And jealousy is a sure way to push people away. There are some women out there that like a little bit of jealousy, and there's nothing, and that's fine. I find it in Latinas a lot, but jealousy in general. I mean, I work to get rid of it. I used to be extremely jealous, and I got rid of the bulk of my jealousy to the point where it kind of shocks women sometimes. Um, and the reason I did that was because I wanted to be happy. I didn't want to depend on what she did to make me happy. And if she's going to cheat, this one woman said this to me once. I was out with her, and her boyfriend, her husband now, is really good with women, phenomenal with women. He's a good friend of mine, and women love him. Women love being around him. And somebody said to her, "Are you ever worried that he'll cheat on you?" And she said, "No, I don't worry about it." And this is probably why she's the one that got him and married him. And they said, "Why?" He said, "Because if he cheats on me, that's all about him and his own insecurities and his problems, not mine. And I'll deal with it if it ever happens, but I don't think it'll happen. I don't worry about it." And it hasn't. He loves her to death, guys. Why? Because she doesn't try to contain him. She appreciates him. She empowers his masculinity. And why do you think out of all the women he dated, he ended up with her? It's not by chance. And it's powerful when you think about it. And so I try to give, I want women to feel free and safe with me. Doesn't mean I expect them to go out and run and have sex with other men if we're in a committed monogamous relationship versus non-monogamous. There has to be definition of what you got. But the more you, and this is another thing, guys, the more you practice radical honesty with your woman, real radical honesty, where you talk about everything openly and with confidence and grounding and tension, and you step into it, the less you'll have to worry about ever being jealous. The more you can get past it. So this is awesome. We've been going an hour. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check a couple, maybe one or two more quick questions. Um, here's another thing, guys. You see a lot about cheating in here. If you're cheating or being cheated on, there's self-esteem issues going on because there's lying and you're covering up stuff. Really confident men and women don't have to lie. Matter of fact, they know every time they lie, it's a chink in their self-esteem. Because every time I lie, I'm hiding something, which means I'm not confident enough to share with you what I really feel. And that says something about me. Even while I'm not even a fan of white lies, to be honest. I'm a fan of honesty. So practice radical honesty, get better at it. Be real, be solid, be a man, be a powerful feminine woman, and watch what happens in life. Your whole life will change. At first, it's scary. At first, you're gonna push a lot of people away that can't handle it. But as the new, more confident people come in, your whole life changes. So, okay, let's see. I'm gonna take one more. Okay, somebody pop a question in. I'm gonna do a different question. I saw the one on NoFap. That's could be a longer talk because there's a lot of aspects to it that could cover. I was thinking I may save that for a talk that I'll do as a YouTube video. Um, Melody, we got Melody here. Let's do Melody's question. How do I really feel comfortable with myself? Some days I enter tension feeling great, and on the other days I crack with the same tension. Sitting alone at the cafe. First thing I'll say, Melody, is are you good with the? Have you ever done any releasing, and are you good with the emotional scale? And I'm gonna come at releasing and revealing a little different than other teachers do. In releasing and revealing, we have an emotional scale: apathy, grief, fear, lust, which is also wanting, anger, pride, courage, acceptance, and then love and peace. And it goes heaviest to lightest. Most teachers are saying release the lower emotions to get to the top emotions to live up there. And what I'll say is release the attachment or the aversion to the lower. So apathy, grief, and fear, lust, anger, pride. Release the attachment and the aversion. What that means is release the part of you that really loves your anger and hates your anger, that loves your pride, hates your pride, loves your. So that when these emotions come up, even apathy down at the bottom, and you start to feel apathetic one day, you feel sad one day, because it's going to happen. You're in a human body. That's what they do. They go up and down in vibration. And when they happen, you're no longer attached to it or averse to it. You're like, yeah, some apathy, big deal. Just like watching a movie where the theme of the movie is something apathetic and sad, but you love it because it's beautiful, because it's a color of life. You don't take it personal because that's not you on the screen. You're watching somebody else. When you can start to do that with your own body, I'm feeling some apathy today, no big deal. I'm going to sit down, relax into it, welcome it, be with it. You'll come out of it so fast. You won't spend much time in those lower emotions. And you'll start spending more and more time rising up. But even when you're down there, you can learn and grow from it. There's a reason that apathy is happening. There's something to learn from it, to grow from it. Nothing happens to you without a reason. There's some vibration that messed with your energy to where you can learn. And the less attached or averse you are to the energy, the faster you'll learn, the faster you'll grow, the faster you'll process. And the less wrong you make your anger. Like I can be angry, I can yell, scream, get angry, but I'm not attached to it. I get it out. I can play with it. I can dance with it. I can have fun with it. And that's part of what moves me from grief and fear straight up to courage, acceptance, love, and peace. Because I can go, oop, there was my anger. I'm done with it. I let it go. You know, if I need to have an intense energy because some strangers are approaching me and my girl in a dark alley, and I got to deal with it. And they look dangerous, and I need to step into them. I don't hesitate. I can step into it because I'm comfortable with those energies. I don't make it wrong or right. Now, is that really anger at that point? Maybe not. Maybe it's just pure courage at that point. But the point is I can access that energy at will because I'm not afraid of it. And so that might be what's wrong with you, is that you're judging the lower emotions as wrong, and I need to get out of them, and and therefore you get stuck in them. Versus, I'm just a little sad today, and I'm going to welcome the sadness and grow from it and learn from it and sit in it like a rainy day, because rainy days are going to come whether you want them or not. You're not going to live. There's no place on the planet that doesn't have changes of weather in some form. Okay. Hopefully that helps you a little bit there. That's a quick answer because I didn't have a lot of time for deep answers and to have a discussion about it. But that was a quick answer. Hopefully, you all enjoyed this. Make sure to check out the Integrated Man Summit if you haven't. Put a link in there one more time, guys. Do me a favor, check it out. It's going to be an amazing event. I'd love to meet all of you and have you all come out and say hi, shake my hand in person, do some work together. Really be able to, because it's so different when I can. It's one thing to write questions, but when I can see your energy in action and see the subtleties, it changes my answers a lot, and like I get a whole new perspective of why you're creating what you're creating in your life. And it's so powerful. There's a link in the channel, in the chat for Integrated Man Summit, guys. Check that out again. Thank you for being on the call, everybody, especially all of you that asked questions, that dove in, that are really, I mean, all of you. I mean, just as long as you're getting value, that's what it's all about for me, whether you come to Integrated Man Summit in the end or not, whether you buy a program or not. My whole business was built on the idea to create tons of value and people will show. Thank you to the ladies that were in the chat. I love having more and more ladies. We're getting more and more ladies in our chats, and that's awesome. You're always welcome here. Fearless is women friendly. We're not here to beat the women. We're here, like the old days of pool where women were targets and all that bullshit. It's not. They're not targets. Women have been relating and taking care of men forever, and vice versa. And that's the way it should be. We all work as a team to grow. Learn to love the women in your life, and learn to hang out with women that love men, because there are plenty that don't. And you don't have to hang out with them. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to battle with them. Let their energy die out by not giving them any attention, and vice versa. And don't hang out with men that hate women. Learn to create better men and women, and life will get that much better because of it for you, for all of you. With that said, oh, that was just an answer for somebody in the chat. Okay, awesome. Well, for those of you on YouTube that are watching this in replay, make sure to like. There's a like button. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get all our messages. Share if you think this is a good video and it created value for you. Share, because it helps us to grow the channel. We're working on growing it and creating more consistent content for you guys in a way that helps it to grow. We're really trying to get exactly what you guys want out there, and put a comment in the video if you haven't already. I don't know if you can while it's live chat, but later you'll be able to put one in. So we love your questions. We're constantly monitoring them, constantly checking them. We work on the engagement. So again, okay, just checking your chats. See, like right here, we got somebody that's. I think he's talking shit. I can't even tell, but it doesn't matter, right? Because ultimately, that's his world he lives in, and that's ultimately what I want to point out. The less you care about what other people think of you, the better life you get. Their life stays the way it is. Your life only gets better. So just remember that, guys, and just enjoy it. So with that said, take care, guys, and have a beautiful day. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.